Changing lanes, Ebru Today analyst Remzi Kulen is an expert in immigration law. He's here today to talk about what you need to know if you're applying for a green card through marriage. Thanks for joining us today. I've got to raise this question. We see this in the movies, green card and some of the others, where you get married so that one person can get citizenship. That used to be a pretty big scam here in the U.S. You know, you get married to someone for 6 months, they pay you, and then you get divorced and go your separate ways. Does that still work?
It's not. Well, it doesn't work anymore. Well, there's actually a movie about it. Gerard Depardieu.
Exactly.
And,
green card, right.
Andy McDowell, I guess. It's the green card movie. I would recommend everyone to watch that movie, especially if they're making a green card application.
We got a clip of it up right now.
We do? Oh yeah, great. Okay.
Had a clip of it.
And well, it's been well, it is the most convenient and easiest, probably the easiest way to get a green card, marrying a U.S. citizen. But in the last years, we see a lot of scrutiny from the Immigration Service. They are cracking down on sham marriages. So every time a U.S. citizen marries a foreigner, the burden of proof is on the petitioner and on the beneficiary.
Well, let's get really down to some of the basics. Why do you need a green card? What's the purpose?
Great, because if you want to live in the U.S. for a permanent period, then you need some kind of permanent visa, and that would be the green card.
So these people who get married to bring someone over to this country, how often does it happen?
It happens a lot, actually. I mean,
when you say a lot, I mean, are we talking half the time? Do you have any idea when you say a lot?
I wouldn't know that. But yeah, well, yeah, we only know the clients that come up to us, and most of the time, people use attorney services for this because it's a complicated process. But sometimes people decide to go there on their own, and we don't know the statistics about it. But it's definitely a burdensome procedure, and you have to follow a lot of different procedures. If your spouse is in the U.S., if your spouse is outside of the U.S., there are different procedures to follow and complicated procedures.
And you mentioned that the government now is cracking down on these kinds of marriages to make sure that they're real.
Exactly.
So I'm asking here, is there a time frame for how long you have to stay married to prove that in fact the marriage is not a sham?
That's a great question. Actually, at the time of your marriage, the next day you can apply for your spouse, for him to get a green card. And what is going to happen is generally you're going to get an interview date to prove that your application is bona fide, your marriage is real, you are in a real marriage relationship. And at the time of the interview, you then have to prove that you are living together. But at the time of the filing of the application, you need to submit a lot of proof showing that you are actually intending to live together, you are living together. There is no time limitation as to how long you should live together. But if you are filing the case after you've just got married, at the time of the interview, you're going to be asked a lot of questions. And once they approve the petition, if you can show the bona fides of the marriage, that green card is going to be valid only for 2 years. All
right, let's say that somebody got married out of convenience, they're really not living together, and they're busted, they're caught. What kind of penalties are we talking about? We're
talking a lot of serious penalties. I don't want to go into detail a lot, but the thing that can happen to a U.S. citizen, they can go to jail. And the thing that can happen to a foreign-born spouse, they would be deported.
And are there more countries where this? Are there more people from certain countries that come to the U.S. where this happens, where you see this happening more often?
Not really. I mean,
no.
We don't have real statistics about it, and I don't think Department of State or Department of Homeland Security has statistics about it. Even if they had, I don't know if they would be in a condition to explain that, because we see, for example, we see FBI a lot dealing with this kind of problem right now. There are FBI agents posing as U.S. citizen spouses.
Interesting. To test you guys.
And test, not us. Well, it depends on what kind of practice you have. First, for example, in my practice, first I have to believe that the marriage is real. Right. So what I do is I take the spouses in front of me and I ask my own questions. If I understand that it's a real marriage, then I would take the case. Otherwise, I wouldn't take the case because I wouldn't want to jeopardize my name.
Right.
So it's really a word of caution here that people have to be very careful about this.
Is there more of a scrutiny perhaps from people who come from certain parts of the world, say in the Middle East or Greece or those areas?
I would say yes, especially Chinese, Mexican, because what we see is it's difficult for them to get the green card otherwise. There's no DV lottery for them. They cannot get the green card through lottery. If they want to go through the employment-based category, the visa numbers are so retrogressed, so backed up, it would take them years and years to get that kind of green card. So we see that kind of, applications from those countries mostly.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for your insight and analysis. And a lesson here is, it better be legit.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.